You're probably sick of hearing about football from me, aren't you? Maybe. Still, there is one more old footy game I want to look at least for now. I desperately wanted it for my PlayStation football compilation vids, but it eluded me. I covered a lot of crap in those vids. Three Lions, Olympic Soccer, Onside Soccer, All-Star Soccer, Chris Kamara's Street Soccer. Gee, sometimes it felt that the word soccer just wasn't a good sign. Those games were bad, but there were those few in the comments who spoke in hushed tones of a game far, far worse than any of them. And now, I have it. Here it is. 442 Soccer, a game released by Virgin Interactive in 1997. Innocuous enough, seemingly. I mean, it's not even a bad publisher, but it is apparently the worst football game on the PS1. So why didn't it make it to those PS football vids? Well, as it turns out, the game's actually quite rare. It had a very small print one, and it took me a fair while to find a copy on eBay. Still, when I did, I swooped on it and picked it up, taking the princely hit to my purse of about £5. This may well be harder to find than, say, Suikoden, but you could probably buy 20 442 Soccers for the cost of one Suikoden. Rarity and value, as it turns out, are not the same thing. Even Blue's Clues, an Australia-only PAL release that is arguably the rarest PAL PS1 game of them all, is only worth about £30, judging by the one completed Aussie eBay listing I could find for it because, well, who on earth wants to play a PS1 Blue's Clues game, or admit to buying one? If you spent 30 quid on a copy of the PAL version of Blue's Clues, Blue's Big Musical for the PS1, then I would probably make a video about you. I mean, geez, I should probably make a video about myself just for spending any money whatsoever on this. I mean, look, it's pretty clear what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of putting off the inevitable, aren't I? I guess we should just go ahead and do it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look. That's so thoughtful. I mean, the sellers put a little piece of bubble wrap in the package to protect the CD. Oh, that's so nice of them. Well, I think that's about dead. Right, no more messing. Let's do it. Right, so as I write this, I've just played my first two matches of the game. I'm Spain playing against Argentina on the normal difficulty with 2-minute halves. What I want to do here is give you an insight into the reviewer's process of judging just what level a game is at while it's fresh in my mind. Of course, you can see surface things already. Obviously the graphics are pretty ghastly, and the sound is an annoying mess of air horns and out-of-place cheers. These are all bad, but what I'm interested in is how this game plays football, and how it can be broken. Initially I note that the passing is very bad, and that almost no ball goes where I want it to, so passing usually gives possession to the opponent. At this point I note that the tackling is poor too. I just seem to go through players half the time. Scarier than that, I also note that when I'm taking a goal kick or throwing the ball to where a player apparently is, they all immediately get out of the way of the ball, meaning that once again the opposition has possession. It's like the ball's a bomb or something. However, the computer is not hot on finishing. Aside from this scary moment here, my goalie saves every shot easily. There's little to no variation in the computer's approach. One to the box, shoot from 12 yards, keeper saves. So if passing doesn't work, well, what about running? There's a sprint button, so I may as well use it. As it turns out, running is pretty successful. I can take a defender all the way up to the goal and be barely challenged. But when shooting, I run into the same problem as the CPU. The keeper saves easily. The first game ends 0-0 and pretty much passes without incident, except for this one moment. The computer wins a free kick right on the edge of my area. Now the absolute baseline of what I expect here is for a defensive wall to be formed and for the computer to have a shot. This does not happen. Instead, the computer opts to pass the ball back to the halfway line. So after the first game, I know this. The game is certainly terrible. Passing is a no-no, but running works. The free kick clearly demonstrates that something is seriously broken here, but there's something more here, clearly, and I have to find it. In the second game, I take a different approach based on running. The first chance I get, I take a defender up the pitch with the ball. Shooting doesn't work, but we end up in the area again. And you know, how about this? Why bother actually shooting? Why bother shooting? With 11 players in front of me, I find that I can run up the pitch, be barely challenged, round the keeper, and walk the ball into the net. It doesn't work every time, but it works enough times for the game's challenge to immediately disappear. Whenever I have the ball under control and it's glued to my feet, anywhere on the pitch, I have a big chance to score, with defenders no less. This moment about sums it up. I'm in the box. I get stuck on a defender, literally stuck for what feels like 2 seconds, and he does not even try to tackle me. Instead, he lets me pass, I go past the keeper, and I score again. The 4-minute match eventually finishes with a score of Spain 5, Argentina 0. Fernando Hierro gets man of the match for scoring 2 of those. He is a legendary defender, one who actually scored a fair few goals in his time, but still, a defender, not famous for them. But it doesn't matter. In this game, a defender running at goal is more lethal than Lionel frickin' Messi. Hilariously, the man of the match celebrates with a bicycle kick, as if there was any situation in this game where you would have the need to do a bicycle kick at any point. There is almost no need to continue on. I have found a football game where you do not need to pass. You do not need to shoot. When I did World Cup Carnival, I called it a game where you literally run up the field in a straight line and shoot at goal. But at least you had to shoot there. I am sure that with refinement, there's a way to run the ball into the goal and be successful every time. But well, who needs refinement? Who needs refinement when you can literally do that? And hell, why bother scoring 5? Maybe you could score 1 and then just set the controller down. Just watch as every 10 seconds your keeper throws the ball back and gets the ball back from the shot until the game ends. In all likelihood, they are not going to score. So yeah, I think I can say with utmost certainty that 442 Soccer is the worst PS1 football game, and indeed the worst football game of all time. All-Star Soccer was previously the worst, but this game easily tops it. Or bottoms it if you prefer. It's bad in a way that doesn't leave me angry, but perplexed, wondering simply what on earth happened here. What went wrong? When you're going through the menus and all that, it feels like a proper game. There's lots of modes, there's lots of club and national teams, apparently over 4,000 players, all with real names to boot. I mean, geez, did they splash out the license for all of that? Did they honestly splash out on licenses for this game as well? And yet when you actually get into the match, this is what you get. And that is astonishing to me. As you might expect, there's not a whole lot of information out there on this game. From what I can gather, the game was developed by Arc Developments, although there isn't an entry for the game anywhere, not even on Moby Games or anything like that. Arc Developments, who you may know from games like the Mega Drive version of Bart vs the Space Mutants and Johnny Bazooka Tone, closed in 1998 and their last credited game was in 1996, which would presumably make this, sadly, their final title. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe the company was gutted before this title could actually be finished, and Virgin just chose to put it out anyway with as few copies as possible and let it die. It is also possible that Virgin Interactive developed the game in-house, which to me is even more baffling, that with all the resources and quality control that they would presumably have to hand as one of the biggest software houses around at the time, they would go ahead and release a game this broken. It's all so weird. Virgin Interactive published games around this time. Broken Sword 2, Subspace, Blade Runner, Command & Conquer Red Alert, 442 Soccer. It's like going to a decent restaurant, one that you have to actually dress for, ordering what you expect to be a perfectly good medium rare steak, and then getting a spunk-covered turd shoved under your nose. Or alternatively a well-done steak covered in ketchup. My general impression of what they were trying to do with 442 Soccer, whoever developed it, was to create an old-style football game, one with simple controls in a similar vein to Sensi and Kickoff, an alternative to the likes of FIFA, Actua and ISS Pro. But for whatever reason, the whole thing went seriously wrong. The one contemporary internet review I could find for the game also found that they could round the keeper most of the time, and thus they scorched it, and I have no easy way to look at how it reviewed in magazines, if it even reviewed there at all. It will perhaps just have to remain a mystery, unless there is somebody out there watching who happened to work on the game and now wishes to tell the story. This is doubtful. I mean, it's not exactly something that would look good on the CV, is it? In closing, I played 442 Soccer, and not only was it everything that everybody said it would be, it was even more than that. A truly baffling disaster. Well, I can tick this one off the bucket list now and once again put the football games to bed. At least until the next time. Bye for now. Thanks for watching this video. On the end screen you can see all the usual options such as watching another video, a link to my channel, and also a link to my Patreon account, which is where you can get on the list of the great and the good you see scrolling there. If you follow any of these options then thank you so much. And also don't forget that you can ring the bell too. See ya!